Madam Chair, we are now live.
Good evening. My name is Sapilin Dionorin, and welcome to the Town of Ajax Accessibility Advisory Committee meeting for Wednesday, May the 18th, 2022. This meeting is being held electronically and live streamed on the internet. All staff and committee members are participating by phone or video. If we encounter any technical difficulties, we may take a brief recess while they are resolved. Thank you for your patience. We will now proceed with the meeting. Are there any conflicts of interest from committee members with any items to be discussed this evening?
No,
seeing there is none, thank you. And if we can look for adoption of the minutes from the previous meeting dated April the 20th, 2022. Do we have a motion to adopt the minutes?
Roseanne speaking. I can move the motion.
Ray Smith speaking. Ray Smith speaking. I second it.
Thank you. All those in favor?
All right.
Thank you, everyone. And we have a few presentations and discussions items this evening, and really relative to our National Accessibility Week. So I'm quite excited about all of this this evening. So the first one, 4.1, Regional Accessibility Award and Nomination, and our committee discussion on possible nominees.
Madam Chair, perhaps if I can help out, I know we had previously mentioned at our April meeting that we have the opportunity to put forward a nomination again this year for the Regional Accessibility Award. So it was a task for all members to sort of brainstorm and think of any potential nominees for consideration for discussion. Unfortunately, I didn't receive any feedback directly. So we do have an opportunity if anybody has any feedback they'd like to share tonight. We still have a bit of time to work through any considerations as we can continue this discussion at our next month's meeting if committee members feel they need additional time, because we have, I believe, until August to submit our nominee to the region. But it's our last formal meeting in June. So if we are planning to proceed with the nomination, the committee would have to have that discussion and final motion next month.
May I please, Heather Steves here, may I please nominate Barb Dowds for all the years that she has been on the committee, but for health reasons, she's no longer able to be here.
Good choice, Heather.
Do we have to second? I will second it if we need a second.
Just see if there are any more
Okay.
discussion around nomination. As Sarah said, we have some time, but again, the time is spread out because our next meeting is June, and then we break basically for the summer and for the election process. So. Sarah, is it possible that we can think about it? I know you did mention it last meeting, but can we think about it and then see if we can come up with someone else, or Bob will be our claim person?
Certainly, if the committee would like some additional time, and perhaps if that is sort of the direction the committee is interested in going in, Roseanne and Heather, I know you're interested in a possible motion to put forward. Maybe we want to seek permission first as well if the individual would be willing to stand for nomination. So we can take that offline and continue that conversation and even start to prepare some preliminary information on any potential nominee so that we can come prepared to the June meeting for formalization.
Mm-hmm.
It's difficult, right? Because we haven't had a lot of outreach and engagement in the community because the pandemic was still going on. So to try and determine if there was any organization or community group that did outreach specific to reaching the disability community or an individual. So we can certainly take some time.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
But the suggestion that's been brought forward tonight is a great suggestion as well.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. So what does everybody think about getting back to Sarah before June? Or if we don't have any other nominee, Bob, once Bob is informed and she agrees, then Bob will be the acclaimed person. And I agree with Sarah. It's not, we haven't seen anybody really face to face and seen the activity in the community to know who is doing what. The community is now opening up, so it will be safe to say that knowing that we know Bob's for a long time, we know exactly what she's been doing or what she's not been doing, as opposed to someone who we haven't seen over the last 2 years.
And for context to the committee, it's not out of scope to nominate a former member. It's not normally appropriate if they're an existing or current member, but if they're a former member, then that nomination can stand for the contributions that they've made.
Yeah.
Ray Smith speaking. I was thinking about that, members who are former members, and I think Barb is a very good choice, but I do agree, waiting just to June to maybe confirm it. Now, I won't be around in June. I'll be on my way to Victoria, British Columbia. But I certainly will put my vote forward. I don't know if I could do a pre-vote, but I certainly will put my vote towards Barb as well.
Lisa speaking here. Who was last year's winner?
We put forward Liz, who is the resident who came forward with the idea for the communication board's pilot project.
That's right. Okay. Thank you. I agree with everyone, with everyone's ideas. Maybe give it until June, from now until June, to submit more information, and then in the meantime also speak with Barb. That's just my comment. Thank you.
Anyone else? So Sarah, that is now set, that we will get back, all members will get back to you if there's any other nominations that they can come up with. And do we have a time frame, Sarah, that we can get back to you, the members can get back to you?
Yes, just pulling up the calendar here. We will be meeting on the 15th, I believe. So perhaps by June the 3rd, if it's not too much of a tight timeline. That way, if there's any materials to be shared, they can be included or circulated with the agenda package for members to review. But I can send out a reminder as well.
Thank you, Sarah. Do we have any motion? We don't need a motion for this, Sarah, do we? No.
Not at this time, because I think we're still sort of sorting things out.
Okay. So if there is no further discussion on this subject, we'll move on to 4.2, 2020 National Accessibility Week recognition, review of the events and activities, and determine member participation. Sarah, I think that's you.
Okay, so I'm just going to pull up our project website, and hopefully it's coming through clearly. So on the screen here, I've pulled up the IMO webpage, which is imo.ajax.ca/access. And I've been plugging in some of the information that the committee has been discussing about recognition opportunities and events for National Accessibility Week, May 29th to June 4th, 2022. So I wanted to share what we've got so far with the committee. Of course, it's still all up for if you've got additional materials that you would like added as well, we can certainly continue to build out this site, but it's sort of a landing spot for now for all of our information. So we have an introduction paragraph that's talking about what the background is behind National Accessibility Week, why it's important to celebrate. And then I've listed some upcoming free in-person events. And all of this is being done in partnership with the Accessibility Advisory Committee. So the first of which we have is our May 30th community flag raising event. That will be taking place here in person, rain or shine, at Ajax Town Hall at 11 a.m. at Heritage Square. So members of the committee, staff, and council will be there. We do normally look to the chair of the committee to be present to do a few remarks. So Seppaline, I'm not sure if you're available that day, but if not, we can make alternative arrangements. And that will also be shared. All of the events that I'm listing on the webpage here have also been included on the town's event calendar and the durhamregion.com event calendar to help get the word out in the community. And our social media will be starting as of next week, I've been told. On Friday, June the 3rd, we have our second in-person event, and that's our film screening of Penguin Bloom. And that will be taking place at 8 p.m. at the St. Francis Center. It's a little bit late because unfortunately, but fortunately, it's really bright outside a lot later into the evening. So at the St. Francis Center, there's a lot of windows and they can't necessarily cover all of them with the automatic shades. So it's recommended to have a later start time because it will get a little bit darker into the time that we're watching the movie. Again, free event, but pre-registration is required. And that can be done online at www.stfranciscenter.ca/events or by phone by contacting the facility. We will be providing light refreshments and all participants will be entered into win a draw for a beautiful book of original photography of Penguin Bloom the bird that was taken. It's sort of the inspiration of the movie itself, taken by Cameron Bloom, who's the husband of the main character that the movie is based upon. So a nice fun treat. On Saturday, June the 4th, we have an open house, finally, for the Unmasking Brain Injury art exhibit. We know that we've had 40 amazing masks on loan to us from the Brain Injury Association of Durham Region since just before the pandemic started. So it's great to be able to promote the availability of viewing now that our facility is open to the public. But being that we're only open Monday through Friday, 8:30 to 4:30, offering a weekend opportunity is a great way to expand the inclusion for people to come and have the opportunity to view the exhibit. But the great thing about this event is that representatives from Brain Injury Association Durham, as well as Heads Up Durham, even a few of the artists themselves will also be on hand to maybe say a few words or interact with those that come in to pop in and view the exhibit and share information about their organizations. So strongly encourage anybody who is available. You don't have to stay for the full duration of the event, but it will be sort of a drop-in, relaxed style between 1 and 3 p.m. on the Saturday afternoon. And we have a free giveaway for the first 100 attendees. But if you're not interested in in-person activities yet, that's completely understandable. We have some online activities available as well. At the suggestion of the committee, we've brought back the What Does Accessibility Mean to You idea board, which is at the bottom of the webpage there, where people can sort of post their own virtual sticky notes and share thoughts and suggestions and identify barriers if they've experienced any in the community. We also have put online the accessibility quiz, the questions that were created in consultation with the committee last year that were used for the Quiz Whiz Family Quiz Night. So we've pared it down to about 25, and there's an online quiz opportunity to learn a little bit more about accessibility and inclusion. And anyone that participates in those two online events will also be entered into a draw for an accessibility prize pack. And then rounding out the week, we're encouraging everyone to wear red on Wednesday, June 1st in support of Easter Seal's Red Shirt Day. And if you have the opportunity to take a picture of yourself or with others wearing red and tag the town's social media channels, and you'll have the opportunity to be featured on our channels as well. So again, just rounding out the page here, acknowledging the work of the town's Accessibility Advisory Committee. And to the right-hand side of the screen, there are a couple of event posters as well. So if you did want to send just specific information to any of your groups or contacts, there is an event flyer for the June 3rd film screening, as well as some background information on the unmasking exhibit. So definitely open to thoughts and feedback from the committee.
Grace
who wants
Smith.
to come to what?
Grace Smith speaking. The flag raising, I'd be very interested in attending. You'd have to, again, just maybe send us the reminder of the times, because don't forget, I'm an old guy. Also, I know it's not an event, but we did talk about putting a message on election day to say, I can't remember what the wording I suggested, suggesting that, we put a reminder that we don't have to be disabled to vote. I can't remember what it was. Have you put that in the agenda, or?
It is on the radar for the social media messaging, just a reminder about not only to electors, but candidates as well, about the importance of making sure that the election process is accessible and inclusive.
Perfect. That's all I want to know. Good.
Thanks, Ray.
Any further? Sarah, may I speak? I know, I think
Yes,
everyone
absolutely.
is silent. I have on my calendar 4 to 5:30 AODA on the 1st. I was going to go into my system to see what I registered for.
That was probably, there were a couple of things I think I've shared recently and some that just came out today. I believe that's the Arch Disability Law discussion or webinar.
Yes, I think that's the one. Yes, I registered for that. And I'm just looking at the calendar now. I'm not in my system and I'm thinking, well, that's National Accessibility Week.
Yes. So there are a lot of virtual events that I'll be sharing in addition to those that we're hosting here at Ajax from our fellow municipalities. I believe Whitby's released their webinar information. They're doing a webinar on intersectionality and disability. And I think there's another one from, if I'm not mistaken, McMaster, I want to say, that's come through our network as well. So I'm more than happy to push that out to the group if there's interest in participating. They're all free events and it's all taking place during Accessibility Week. So the more the merrier.
So Sarah, the second part of this was determine member participation. So where do you need us to be, like we can participate? Is there anything we have to be there to do something about, because it's only one in-face event, right?
3. So we had the first off is the flag raising. So the mayor will be delivering the official proclamation for National Accessibility Week and will be raising the flag. And usually at that time, the chair or a representative from the committee, or if neither are available, myself, would speak very briefly to the initiative and some of the events that we have coming up during the week, sort of like that in-person promotional opportunity. For the film screening event, any members that are available or interested in attending usually assist with welcoming guests to the screening, helping at the concession stand to hand out snacks. If anybody wanted to speak to National Accessibility Week or to the movie, if you wanted to have a public speaking opportunity, that's also open and available. And then for the Saturday event, it's much more relaxed. If there's just anybody that wanted to be there and represent the committee in case there were questions, A, about the committee, B, about accessibility in Ajax, C, about National Accessibility Week. It's always great to hear from the committee members themselves, not necessarily always staff, right?
So, Sarah, when will the members get back to you on, especially the participation? Because you need participation especially for the screening. Because I know that there's always you need you need ambassadors and you need welcomers and all of that kind of.
Perhaps maybe towards the end of next week, if that's sufficient time for everyone. That gives us a couple of days before the first event.
Lisa speaking here. I'll sign up for the movie for sure. I'm happy to help serve snacks or welcome guests and watch the movie because I have seen it and it's excellent. And I will likely be at the flag raising event as well. As long as there's no conflict, I will do my best to be at the flag raising. Unfortunately, this Saturday I have another commitment, so I won't be able to come to the brain injury art exhibit.
Okay, we're happy to have you for what you're available for.
Thank you.
And Sarah, I'll definitely do the movie night. Whatever role there is there for me to do.
Okay.
I think last time I did this, greeter or something I did.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. And even if there's interest, totally up to anyone's comfort level. If they want to do it, we usually do a few opening remarks for the film as well. We can talk a little bit about what Accessibility Week is, why we're doing that particular event. So if anybody has a burning desire to do that, let me know and I can work with you on that too.
No, Sarah, you can do that.
Oh,
we voted you in to do
nominate Sarah.
you voted
I
in.
try to share the opportunities because I know that really like working on those things, right? So yeah. I offer it there. I'm happy to do it if nobody else wants to, but I definitely want to offer it up.
Just point us out in the audience if we are there.
Of course. Sounds good. Okay, well, I don't want to put anybody on the spot, but just something to think about now that we've got the dates. And again, I'll send out a summary from our meeting tonight so you can get that. Do you prefer them as an email list, in a calendar invite, both? Because I know sometimes things get lost in inboxes. They do in mine anyway. So
I have to pin everything and then I lost the pin too.
And then everything gets pinned and then you got to sort through your pins. Okay, I'll do a combination and then anybody can let me know if they're planning on attending things individually.
Okay, so everybody comfortable with 4.2 and the discussion around 4.2? We can move on to 4.3, 2021 multi-year accessibility plan update. And Sarah, again, that's you.
Okay, so you'll have to bear with me tonight because I have prepared a summary. I'm still in the process of finalizing the actual formal, nice looking updated document for circulation and review to staff. So I've compiled a high level summary of content that's going into that report and attachment, but it's that time of year again when we take a look and reflect back on the previous calendar year in terms of identifying accomplishments, highlights, and achievements that relate to the priorities of our accessibility plan. So you'll note that this is covering pretty much mid-2021 to mid-2022, because that's really around this time last year that we presented our last update. We solicit feedback from across all of the organization's departments, and all of the areas within the plan directly relate to the pillars of the accessibility legislation. And we know the pandemic has continued to impact a lot of the regular programs and services that have been provided by the municipality, but a lot of that has created opportunity to become more accessible and inclusive in different ways. And it's great to see that that's continuing on as we're coming out of the pandemic into that recovery and reopening phase. And it is worth noting that because this is a 5-year plan, we do have a requirement under the legislation to conduct a comprehensive review of the plan every 5 years. So that's earmarked for early 2023 and will be one of the first tasks that the committee will have in the new term coming forward. So in the area of policy and procedure, I won't go into these in too much detail because I will be providing you with the detailed report, but just a few highlights. We've had improvements to the town's public notice policy to make sure that design and access and word use and reading level is much more accessible. As we've seen in the past, our public notices can often be quite complex in terms of the language that is used, or there's a lot of jargon. So trying to standardize that process so that people have a general expectation of what a public notice should look like. The Planning Department's site plan manual has undergone revisions to update accessibility as one of the components of their review. And we know that the zoning bylaw continues the review. That's one of the largest planning documents we have in the municipality, incorporating and updating accessibility provisions within. The housing strategy is underway, and I've heard from my colleague in planning that she will be coming forward to us at the next meeting to provide an update regarding consultation on that process. And planning has also taken the initiative to make sure that a lot of their online planning application forms are going to be created in a more accessible format so that they can be completed online. We also have policies in place regarding single-use plastics. And you might think, single-use plastics, what does that have to do with accessibility? But if you'll recall, probably many years ago now, I sent around an email looking for committee members' feedback on types of products that could take into consideration accessibility, as through this process, we're looking at acquiring a vendor to provide us with non-plastic compostable materials. And we wanted to make sure that accessibility considerations were included within that process in terms of specifications. So things like bowls that are much deeper or have a taller edge on them, different types of utensils. So making sure that that lens was put on that process is great to see. And of course, we'd be remiss about talking about that tiny little thing called the 2022 municipal election. So we know that that's taking place in October. We are currently underway, full steam ahead with all of our planning, coordination, recruitment information will be coming out over the summer months. But a new feature for us this year is our partnership with the Ability Center. Through their Leading Through Equitable and Accessible Diverse Design. We've had them come on board with us and kind of complete a third's eye view of our election processes and planning in key areas through an accessibility and inclusion lens. And it's been great to see the feedback that comes through that group, because we're always learning and identifying opportunities where we can improve accessibility in our processes for the election. And that's also a program that staff are interested in taking advantage of on a grander scale across the organization towards next year. And it will enhance the comprehensive review of the accessibility plan. Customer service is always the area with the most highlights and achievements. Pleased to say that the Recreation and Culture Department and Inclusion Services was successful with their Enabling Accessibility Fund Youth Ambassador Grant application to purchase a portable multi-sensory cart. Some of you might be aware that the Fire Prevention Office did participate in the Safe Community Project Zero campaign, where they partnered with distribution of smoke and carbon monoxide detectors for several people who were identified as vulnerable in the community, older adults, people with financial instability, people with disabilities. And that was a program where they would provide you with the device, but also come to your residence and install it, increasing accessibility and inclusion for emergency preparedness. We've expanded online payments for many services throughout the pandemic. Our inclusion services also has their own dedicated communications channel now through email. So if there are any parents or family members interested in how they can connect with inclusion services specifically through recreation, they have a dedicated email. Payment options at the Memorial Pool have been expanded. Previously, it was only cash, but now you have the opportunity to use debit as well. And we are familiar with the Age-Friendly Community Resource Guide that we participated in review, as well as the Accessible and Age-Friendly Business Checklist that is underway. Continuing on with customer service, the Ajax Public Library is partnered with Grandview Kids to create a sensory storytime program, and has also coordinated the delivery of the Blue Umbrella Dementia Friendly training for their customer service and community engagement staff. And this group is definitely familiar with our participation and recognition of National Accessibility Week, Guide Dog Awareness Month, International Day of Persons with Disabilities. We've also participated in the Local and Regional Accessibility Award nomination opportunities. Recreation and Culture and Operations piloted a volunteer snow removal program, and based on the outcomes of that program, could potentially see expansion to help to support the seniors and qualified residents snow removal program in the future. And we're working on implementing the Communication Board's pilot project in our parks. In the area of communication and information, under the umbrella of closed captioning, this was a great number for me to see. The Ajax Public Library, they actually conducted over 1,000 programs that incorporated closed captioning in their virtual programming throughout the past year, which is pretty amazing. We also currently now, through our corporate communications department, have a procedure in place to ensure that all of our corporate videos have captioning added to them as well. The library updated their website to make sure that it was World Wide Web compliant with the accessibility legislation requirements. And our corporate communications team actually won an award for creating a corporate visual identity and brand guideline document that has several sections dedicated to accessibility, color contrast, typography, size of your fonts, things of that nature. Our council chambers is currently undergoing our audio and visual renovations and upgrades. So we're excited to see that project come to completion this fall. Software for text customer service communications previously was TextNet, I believe it was called, has been updated to a software called Next Talk, and staff at the frontline at our recreation centers, operations, and town hall have received training on that upgrade. Several staff are currently, as of just last week, participating in an early adopter program, shifting to Microsoft 365, which has a wealth. I'm so excited because it has a wealth of accessibility features that will only help to enhance the documents and materials that staff are creating. And Laura had created the age-friendly webpage on the ajax.ca site. And in the works for this year is a new St. Francis Center website as well, taking into consideration additional accessibility needs. In the area of employment, our inclusion staff continue to be certified in behavior management systems. We continue with our ongoing onboarding of all new staff with our accessibility training module. There was the creation of a staff wellness committee, which is a group across all departments within the organization dedicated to health, wellness, and mental well-being. We also implemented corporately the program offered by the Canadian Mental Health Association, which is called Not Myself Today, about mental wellness. And accommodations continue to be provided through the job posting process, offer letters during interviews, as well as assessments once staff come on board with the organization. And also interesting from our HR department is that they're continuing to utilize new tools to help review materials that are being sent from HR, job postings, that they're using appropriate language levels and clear language guides and reading levels. So it's great to see that initiative as well. In the area of transportation, we saw updates to the private transportation bylaw. Inclusive Communities grant application was submitted for our mobility device charging station pilot, and our fingers crossed that we should hear an update on that soon, hopefully. And continued communications between staff, the committee, and Durham Region Transit are ongoing, even through the age-friendly committee as well. Durham Transit is always a thread that sort of floats through a lot of things within the organization, even being at a regional level. And we continue to develop and enhance our multimodal transportation, active transportation network through our trails, through our sidewalk connectivity or pedestrian connectivity, and Army is a great ambassador for that and always enjoys engaging with this group here. And to round it out, design of public spaces, the Ajax Public Library was successful in receiving grant funding for installation of power door operators for the Rotary Room, as well as washrooms on the upper and lower levels. And the flooring was replaced at the Ajax Community Center Ice Pad 2 lobby area. We also saw recently, I think this is just opened officially, accessible pedestrian improvements at the intersection of Harwood Avenue North and Haskell Avenue. And the committee was consulted on the Indigenous Healing Garden at Lake Ridge Hospital. And Andrew Jackson's been out to speak to us about all the great projects on the go for our parks and trails system. So in a nutshell, that's a summary of what we have here for tonight. This should really say not approved, but received for information. But sample motion on the screen if there's support for the information shared today. Again, you will be receiving the full detailed report. I just, in the time crunch to get it to you this evening, it didn't align with the timelines that I had available. So that is still coming to you. But in a nutshell, this is the high level overview. And I'm happy to take any questions. Feedback.
Any feedback?
Because they're a quiet group tonight.
Sarah, can I say something then?
Certainly.
Can you go back? I think it was transportation. There was something there that piqued my interest, and I couldn't. What was after transportation? There was one. I wrote it down, but I didn't put the heading. Oh, I think was, yeah. Oh, the public spaces. Yeah. There's nothing mentioned about what. Maybe it's because it's in the work. The library and their maker space.
Oh, the maker space.
Yeah.
I think that's worth talking about, even though it's not in construction phase yet. There has been a lot of consultation on that over the years. So that's a great suggestion.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay, everyone is quiet and no further discussions. Everyone is taking it all in and digesting it at this point. Okay. Well, can we move on to 4.4?
Sure. This is a quick one, Madam Chair.
Emergency contingency planning survey.
So I flagged this for the committee tonight. I caught this through the Age Friendly Ajax steering committee's last meeting. There is a provincial survey that's taking place by a third-party consultant, but the results will be going to municipalities across the province, back to the province in regards to emergency contingency planning, and specific to the fact that we live so close to the power plant. It is something worth sharing with this group if there's interest in completing the survey. It's completely voluntary. It is anonymous. It only takes a few minutes, but there are some questions in relation to what would you do, or what supports might you need in the event of an emergency or a catastrophic event. The unfortunate thing about the structure of the survey is there doesn't seem to be an opportunity to share additional information or thoughts. It's just specific to the questions that are provided, but still worth sharing for your interest or anybody that you feel would be interested in taking part, and the links included in the agenda package.
Any feedback from Sarah on this one? Okay, so can we move forward, Sarah? Okay.
Sure can.
Okay, so 4.5, participation in the Seniors Barbecue, June the 9th, 2022.
So this is another exciting one because it's been over 2 years, if you can recall, that we've been able to get together in person for this event. So we have a table booked for an information station at the June 9th Seniors Barbecue at Rotary Park. And of course, if there's interest from the committee in taking part in assisting me with that information table, I encourage you to do so. We have lots of materials. We haven't really been out in the community in quite a while. So this is another great opportunity to share the work of the committee, how they can get involved as we are leading up to a new term, and just have general conversations about accessibility and barriers. That's kind of the best part, is when we don't really have an agenda and people just come to us and you have great conversations with people in the community.
Sarah, can I speak? It would be lovely to have some giveaways for this one. Because
we do have giveaways. We have probably 2 years worth of giveaways that I've been storing up.
It's lovely to have something like that, like a rebirth.
We do. We have, if anybody remembers the purple Town of Ajax totes from a few years ago, they're great freezer grocery bags. I have those branded with accessible Ajax. I have jar grippers. I have magnifiers. I have coloring books for kids, but that's less appropriate for this event. But yeah, tons of stuff. We even have different books that people might be interested in. We can do draws for. So lots of stuff.
How did I not think you were going to be ready with that?
Well, if you see my workspace at the moment, it's like a little box cave. So I'm more than happy to make sure we're sharing it with everybody through these events.
Excellent. Oh, that's excellent. Oh, beautiful.
Hi, Ray Smith speaking. You stole my thunder because I was going to do it for my report from the age-friendly committee.
Sorry, Ray.
I don't know what am I going to talk about. So, and I see, now I've got a problem because I belong to Probus. I'm two Probuses in Ajax. I don't know what table to sit on yet. I belong, of course, to the age-friendly committee. I could sit on their committee table, or I could sit on our table. What to do? Anyway,
I don't think you'll be sitting at all. I think you'll be hopping from booth to booth.
Booth to booth, a booth hopper. Now I'll be absolutely going to go, and hopefully it's going to be lovely weather. And yeah, this is our first opportunity to get out there. And I know Laura Ray's done some, great giveaways as well. And I know, again, Probus is involved as well, and a lot of other community organizations are going to be involved. So it is a good time, and we will have a good time, and really looking forward to it. Time to unleash. Let's get going.
You have a time slot for it?
I believe it is 11 until 1. I can confirm that when I send it out, but that seems to be what I remember. And it is at Rotary Park. Just going to try and pull up my calendar.
Hey, I'm sure it'll be a full house being the first event.
Oh, yes. We just, like Ray said, have to hope for good weather, right?
Yes, the weather. Oh, people love to just let their wings fly.
Well, we did have a first event of the age friendly, or no, it wasn't age friendly. What was it? The spring fling, Sarah. Yeah, and I didn't attend, but I know it was well attended.
I misspoke. It is 11:30 to 1:30.
Yeah, that's what I have in my calendar here. And I just changed it to 11 to 1. So put it back to 1 to 3. Okay.
And again, you don't have to be there for the full time, even if you want to pop by and spend a couple minutes there and say hi, and totally what your availability and interest is. But it's always great to have members of the committee there too.
And don't forget there's a barbecue if you can have.
Exactly. And who knows what other giveaways there will be at the other tables, right?
Yeah, that's right.
I'll volunteer now.
Great. Thanks, Catherine.
So we're moving right ahead. Okay, lovely things coming up for us. So correspondence, 5, please.
No correspondence, Mr. Chair.
Any other correspondence? So we move on to point 6, update from Council. Councillor Bowles.
Thank you, Madam Chair. Just a couple of bits of information. So we had a council meeting last night, and one of the motions that passed was for training, additional training for council. So this term of council, we've had a series of training sessions, all based on various diversity and equality and inclusion type of training, such as anti-racism. I'm just looking for unconscious bias, anti-Black racism, anti-racism, gender diversity and inclusivity. And actually coming up, I believe next week, we will have accessibility training. And that is being facilitated through the LEAD program, I guess would it be called, Sarah? That from the Ability Center. So we're really looking forward to that. And we will also be having some training regarding homelessness and the vulnerable sector services available and support gaps. So I just wanted to mention that. And the Live with the Mayor session is on, I think it's the the last day of May, May 31st at 7 o'clock. It's a virtual session. So the last one that the mayor provided was a hybrid of in-person and online. This one will be strictly online, I think streamed on the town's website and also on Facebook. So it's a busy time where all members of council have filed their nomination papers for the upcoming election in October. And we're gearing up, getting everything done for the end of term or in time for summer recess. So it's been busy, and now that things are returning to in-person events, it's been really busy, but it's been great to get out there and really see the people and be part of the community again, not just online. So it's been good. And that's my update. Thank you, Chair.
Thank you, Councillor Ball. Any question to Councillor Ball? Seeing there are no questions, we'll move on to point 7, external committee updates. And we have Wei and Roseanne. Wei, can we call on you first? 7.1.
Well, before I go, you stole my thunder, but I do. Sorry.
No, you can build something else.
No, I through you to Councillor Bauer, I was going to ask a question, but I was muted. You spoke about the live with the mayor.
Yes.
Please clarify what you talked about. What you said online on the website or on Facebook, correct?
Yes, there's
Yeah.
You can access it through the town's website where it'll be live streamed, and then you can also access it through the Town of Ajax Facebook page.
But then I have an accessibility issue then, or concern. I shouldn't say issue. I never have issues.
Yeah.
What if I'm a resident of Ajax? I don't want to go on I don't want to go on the website, and I certainly don't have Facebook. I would love to use the phone. Why can't they do it by phone?
That's an excellent question. I don't have an answer for that. I don't know, Sarah, if you are able to talk about that.
Sure. And again, I also don't know the full format of the event, but I know that depending on how it's structured and formatted, there might be an opportunity to participate by submitting. It's not necessarily like a Zoom call like we would have here, but you could view it similarly how you could view the live stream of this meeting on the town's website, YouTube channel. I can send out the specific links. If you were interested in participating, I think that there is usually an email address where you can submit comments, even live. There will be staff monitoring that email account live, as well as if you were viewing it via Facebook, you could be commenting on Facebook, but I can certainly clarify that with our corporate communications team and send out the details.
Then my apologies to Councillor Bauer. I thought it was like, they phone you up and the next day you can phone in live with MPPs or whatever. As a different format. So my apologies.
No worries.
I misunderstood.
Definitely worth the question, right?
Yeah.
I appreciate that you listened to what I said, Ray.
Oh, yeah. Well, listen, my wife always said I never listen. So I was intently. Going back to the Age-Friendly Committee, we're excited as the Accessibility Committee to, get out there live in talking to people as well. We were involved in the Spring Fling event. I did not attend, but I hear it was well attended. And we are planning a lot of big plans going on with the marketing of Age-Friendly Ajax and our first event as well. So this is exciting time for all, and once we get our foot on the ground, and then more information will come out with Age Friendly. I know Laura's working very, very hard to get the word out there to different communities, seniors, residents, etc. But we've got to create buzz, and right now, I'm going to say it's the best best worst kept secret or something like that, because it is a good initiative, but we got to get the word out there about age friendly, and I think the picnic will be a great start. And that's my report.
Thank you, Ray. Roseanne?
Thank you, Seppaline. Well, since our last Town of Ajax Accessibility Advisory meeting, we have not had a regional meeting. Our next regional meeting is scheduled for next Tuesday, May the 24th. And but I will report that Janet Traer, who is our accessibility coordinator for the regional committee, is retiring. Oh. And so officially, her retirement party is Monday, May the 30th at Robert McLaughlin Gallery. If anyone knows her or has been, in contact with her over the years, it would be, I apologize. It would be, it's a drop-in retirement party between 5 and 8. So you can contact me and I can give you the contact to email if you would like to attend at any point during that evening, 5 to 8 on Monday, May the 30th. So that's all I have to report for today.
Any questions for either Ray or Roseanne on their specific committees? No. See, has nothing. No. Just one question, Roseanne. The McLaughlin building is where? The one next to Oshawa General? Just to
confirm I've only actually been there once. It's 72 Queen Street, Oshawa.
Okay, so there's not close to the hospital. Okay. I was thinking about other building next door.
I think it's closer to Oshawa City Hall.
Oh, okay.
It's in and around that area.
So Roseanne, would you send out some other information, like address and things to Sarah, and Sarah can send it out to her?
Oh, sure.
A lot of us know. John.
You do know. Oh, okay, great. So I will send that email to Sarah then, and unless Sarah's already received it, and she can circulate it. Yes.
Ray Smith has a question through the chair for Roseanne. Very sad. Well, happy and sad to see Janet going because retiring. She's I've known her for many years as well, so I'll be sending her a special note, but I won't be able to attend. But what is the process? Maybe Sarah would know the answer. What is the process in getting a new coordinator or for the Durham Accessibility Committee?
Through the chair, it's honestly not something I could even really speak to, right? Because the region's a completely different organization than ours, but I would imagine they would go through a formal recruitment process, be it internal, external. Roseanne might know more just in speaking. I don't know if there were any succession plans shared with the regional committee, but it would be similar to any other vacancy, I would assume.
I nominate Sarah.
There wasn't a succession plan communicated to the committee. I know internally at the region there has been shifts in positions, so it's shifting up of positions, and so I'm not clear. I'm not completely clear as to how they would fill that position. But I'm sure it's in the works.
So is that position being filled after the election? Because it's in the middle of the election. And all these positions are the 4-year positions, right?
This is a position under the CAO of the region.
Okay.
So it doesn't have any bearing on who is elected. I don't believe.
That's correct. It's not an appointed position.
It's not appointed. Okay.
Right.
Yeah, thank you, Roseanne and Ray. And other businesses. Does anyone have any other business to share?
Lisa speaking, Madam Chair. And I hope I'm not overstepping, Sarah, but I'm not sure if the committee knows of the new role. I just thought of this as Ray nominated Sarah for that regional position, and I was going to protest because we need her here. But the manager of legislative services and deputy clerk has recently left the town of Ajax to go work at the region. And I don't know if everybody knows that Sarah was recently appointed as the interim manager of legislative services and deputy clerk, as well as her existing position in committee coordinator. And she pretty much does everything at the town. So
Yeah.
I don't know if the committee was aware of that, and I just wanted to mention it.
Wow.
That's very kind. And I'm very excited to be in this role in the interim to assist our team with the transition and in welcoming in the new deputy and manager when that time comes. So thank you, Councillor.
Absolutely.
Can we endorse? It's election. Can we endorse?
Endorse Sarah for the position?
That wouldn't be appropriate.
I know. Sarah, you know me over the years. Yeah. But it's a lovely sport, though. It is really. I mean, if you're looking at experience and things like that, seriously, and having some experience doing that position internally, if we look at internally, it's a good fit.
I appreciate everyone's kind words. Thank you.
Any other
I
business?
just wanted to mention that. That's it. Thank you, Chair.
Any other business? No other business? Well, I hope everyone has got lots of report next meeting. It's our last meeting, and we have a lot of face-to-face events coming up, a lot of exciting events coming up between now and the next meeting. So I will hope that people will write some things down so they can, tell us the exciting things that happened over that month and the face-to-face, how that went and different things. So we're not so quiet. So guys, if we don't have anything else to mention, we're at the point of adjournment. So if there is nothing, okay, so going once, going twice. We will adjourn at this point. That concludes our meeting. May I have a motion to adjourn, please? Catherine, seconder.
Roseanne speaking. I will second.
Okay, Roseanne, second. All in favor? Thank you all very much, and have a wonderful June, end of May and June. And we'll see you all during June with lots of events.